So I was in the shower, I was cleaning my ass and making all sure it's all sparkly, spanky clean.
I'm not the funny one. I'm the pretty one.
Cock shots. I just checked myself out.
Candles, music, wine, and then lube up and get on top.
The glory hole's like a Nick Theater. I've imagined your family.
Which means your pants had better come off. Mama needs playtime. I do that.
We're not sluts.
We just love love. Hello, this is Mrs. Atom.
And this is Mr. Atom.
Thanks for joining us here for another episode of By the By.
Yeehaw.
Yay.
Yay. I'm going to apologize in advance because Mrs. Atom over there gave me her crud, her funk. I don't know. So I'm going to be coughing occasionally. And whatever.
Sharing is caring.
Sharing
I
is
learned
caring.
well.
She gives
my
me...
parents taught me well.
Ugh, you give me nasty shit. Look, I'm already starting because you're going to get me
you
laughing.
like what I have
See,
to give.
I know. Normally I do. But you gave me the plague, and so now I'm dying. And just as a side note, because I want to talk man flu for a moment. Because there are people out there that'll go, "Oh, he's got the man flu. He's not really sick." I do want to make the point that you had this disease, and you were, air quotes, bad for 3 days.
Yeah.
Your worst was like, achoo, oh, I'm a little sniffly, blah, 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 blah. I think I'll drink some tea. I'm feeling like I'm dying, like I've been hit by a bus, and I know I have a higher pain tolerance than you. I mean, there's no question.
Well, it may not have shown a lot, but I did feel really bad for 3 days. I mean, in fact, and it happened to be over the weekend, so it was Saturday and Sunday, which I could laze around and kind of nap if I wanted to.
And you did nap a lot,
I did.
which I was surprised.
And then I went to work on Monday because there was some things that had to get done. I had no choice. And so I went into work, and my boss and a few other people were like, wow, you look rough. Like, yes, I do. And they're like, I'm sorry you have to be here today. Let's get through this so you can go home.
Wait, would you have stayed home if you could have?
If I could have, yes.
All right, so you were that bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I have felt like I've been hit by a fucking bus since Monday.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
But you're.
if it's man flu, I don't care. I feel bad. I don't care what you want to call it. I feel bad.
But you have more energy now. So
I feel better now than I have
Yeah.
any other day this week, really. So yeah, we'll see.
It's
I got my little hot
It's
toddy
always worse
here.
for boys. You do have a hot
It's
toddy.
always worse for boys. You know that
Hopefully the hot toddy will make you feel better.
that sounds mean, but okay. All right. Onwards and upwards. I'm gonna
Yes.
stop bitching for a second.
Not for long, given the topic today.
It is not going to be one of those podcasts.
Okay.
I am not going to get up on my soapbox
Oh.
too much.
Uh-huh.
We're just talking. This
Sure.
is a safe place.
Sure.
It's a safe place. What are we talking about?
We're talking about online profiles.
Online profiles.
Yes. Because we had an episode previously where we talked about kind of an introduction to swinging and whatnot. And of course, what do? You have to meet people. So we're going to go through online profiles. And this is going to be both couple profiles and single profiles.
Yeah, so basically what my goal here is to sort of give folks out there in podcast land an idea of what I swipe right on, click to, flirt with, message, whatever app you're using, what it takes for me to engage you, and then the things that drive me absolutely crazy.
Yeah, and the things that we like to see and what we look
Yeah.
for in other people's profiles.
And hopefully we'll have enough time to sort of delve into the messages as well, and like what we're looking for in this back and forth in those first few seconds.
We've had a lot of questions about this, so hopefully this will clear some of this up for you.
It's true. We've had a lot of questions, but I don't remember any of the questions right now. So we'll just have to kind of dive in and do everything.
Sure.
So first of all is what apps do we use, or what websites do we use? You want to start your list?
Yeah, so my list is going to be much shorter than yours.
Well, yeah, but there's no lady lists.
So we use RHP for a couple profile, and then I have Tinder, and I don't think Yeah, I don't have anything else because I don't have OkCupid anymore. I shut
Yeah.
that one down. It was not. It was bad.
OkCupid was rough for me as well. Although I did meet some of our favorite people on OkCupid.
We've met some great people on there, but it's a lot more to cull through.
It is.
And yeah, that was just. I'd rather do Tinder than that, I think.
And so for me on my phone, I have Grindr, Scruff, Field, Tinder, and Vanilla Umbrella. Those are the 5.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about the Vanilla Umbrella.
Yeah. Those are my 5 that I will say, or 6, I guess, because I also have RHP. Mm-hmm. So those are the ones I look at. Admittedly, the ones I look at the absolute most often are Grindr, Field, and RHP.
Right.
I'll look at Scruff, Tinder, and Vanilla Umbrella occasionally. So to kind of dive in real quick as to what the hell am I talking about, what are these apps for folks that don't know. RHP, Red Hot Pie. I sound country to myself when I say pie. Red Hot Pie is a website designed for couples to meet other couples, or for singles to meet couples. It's an adult dating site. Yeah, it's a dating site, but it's mainly geared for couples to couples.
And that one is more Australia based.
More Australia based, yes. Admittedly, I don't know what an American version would be because I never had an account for one.
We've heard people talking about a few of them,
and I don't recall.
There's SDC. I know I've heard of Cassidy. Yeah. I don't know.
Where's A&T when we need it?
Yeah, I know.
So that's RHP.
We can always find out and put links up.
Absolutely, yeah. I use Grindr. Grindr, I think everybody on Earth knows what Grindr is, but if you don't, it's basically a place for guys to meet guys.
Male hookup
app. Mm-hmm. But it's ironically becoming much more of a serious dating app, which is so weird. Anyway, a long time ago, it was basically the men's room stall with, for a good time call. Then there's Scruff, which is sort of targeted more towards the bear and otters. A bear is a big furry guy, an otter is a skinny hairy guy. So then beyond that, there's Field, which at one time was Thrender, but due to some stupid lawsuit, they had to change their name to Field, Feeld. I still hate the bloody name. I actually like the icon. The name is... why can't they come up with a better name? Anyway. But it's
done, babe. Let it go.
I know. I'll never let go. But it, again, is for singles to meet couples or for couples to meet couples. Tinder, I think we all know what Tinder is. And then Vanilla Umbrella is more of a kink fetish app. So the idea is you're meeting doms and subs that are into anything from light impact play and spanking to shibari to golden showers to splashing to whatever. Whatever your kink is, there's a way to meet people on Vanilla Umbrella.
And so for us, Mr. Adam is the one who does the majority of the initial legwork.
I am the gatekeeper.
Which is why he has all of the apps on his phone, and I don't. I tend to come in after he's made contact with somebody or somebody's made contact with us, and if there's some interest between the two, then that's when he points it out to me, and he's like, hey, check this one out, I like whatever about him, and so then we'll talk about it. But I take a bit of a backseat to this a lot of times.
You do, but I tend to know what you like.
You do, because we do talk about it.
Yeah.
We do go through profiles, and we do look at couples and individuals together, and so we do talk about it some. It's just that I don't do the day-to-day go through, cull out the bad ones,
and that's what I do,
rein in the good ones.
Certain apps I look at daily. I would say RHP I look at every 3 to 4 days. Grindr I'm on at least every other day. Scruff is every other day. Vanilla Umbrella is once every 2 weeks. Field is probably every other day. So it's a lot of work. It's a job.
It is a lot of work.
But it's also worth it because we've met some wonderful people. In fact, all of our constant play friends we've met via one of these websites. And I think it's kind of cool. so for us, once we've met you and we've made some sort of connection, me and whoever that person is, and I want to get us to talk with Mrs. Adam, what I will tend to do is we move to Kik. So if you don't have Kik, some people use WhatsApp. I like Kik because it's username based and not phone number based, so that person will never get my phone number. So that would be my personal advice, because then all four of us or three of us can talk and chat at once. And it's kind of nice to have.
You can see if there's chemistry then between the group, and it's a way that even if, you know, two people, or if it's a foursome, three people are chatting more, somebody, you know, may be a bit more on the sidelines, that's okay, because they can still check in and see what's going on. And it's, again, everything is open, nothing's hidden, and so it's really nice to have that. Because I know sometimes I'll come back to my phone and I'll have, like, you know, 35 Kik messages. It's like, holy crap, there's been a lot of chatter, I need to catch up.
Yeah, but it's nice. So, it's great to have that sort of support group, and it's always people we like, and yeah, it's I like it. It's nice. You know, it's interesting, a world we live in where some of our closest friends live, you know, hundreds of K away, or even thousands. You know, we've got friends in the States that I still feel so very close to, and they're on the other side of the world, and they're still, I would, you know, call them some of our best friends. It's really, I like it. It makes me warm and fuzzy on the inside. That's not the hot toddy talking. All right, so let's talk about profiles. So I'm going to pick on you because I don't want this to be the me show.
Okay.
Let's imagine Tinder. So you're flipping through Tinder. You've got it set to show you both male and female.
I do.
Participants,
yes.
Correct? Yes.
I do.
So we're going to, as we're talking as well, our apps will be open. So
do I need to open this?
Yeah, you can open your
Okay.
app and see who's available. So we'll try to give you, our listeners, our full undivided attention, but we've got these apps open, so we'll be looking. You guys will always be there. You know, these folks on the other side may not. So what is there anything in that initial picture, because as I recall, Tinder only shows you an initial profile pic, an age, and if you have any connections, and a name. Is there anything that you could see that would make you instantly swipe right without looking at the profile details of the profile?
No.
Fair enough. I appreciate that, and that's true for both men and women, right?
Yes.
So how does it work for you? You tap on it to see, once you see someone who's interesting. All right, so then let's do it that way. What makes you want to tap on a profile to take a closer look, to look at what they've written? So for those who haven't done it, once you tap on the profile, so I guess I should take another step back. With Tinder, you've got a person's picture, like we said, their name, their age, and any common connections that you might have with that person. If you like them, you swipe right. If you don't like them, you swipe left. If you want to super like them, which will tell them that you have super liked them, you swipe up. So what does it take for you to be like, okay, I want to learn more about this person. I want to read their profile and see what other pictures they have.
So for me, in that initial glance, it's either they're attractive physically, something has caught my eye about them. It could be because you also, with Tinder, you have your job also listed, or like
right.
university or something like that.
That you're an affiliation.
Something,
you're right.
Yeah, and I mean, you can, not everybody does. But if there's something interesting there or witty, some people are, you know, quite witty and funny and don't have like serious things on there. I kind of like that.
I have seen that too.
Because I like a good sense of humor.
I do.
Like humor,
and occasionally it's clearly sarcasm.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, humor and sarcasm go a long, long ways. That is a very attractive quality to me. So I would say, or it could also be a background, if it's an interesting background, or if they have an animal or pet or something with them.
Oh, you're a sucker for animals, but
not
fish,
always.
right?
Not always.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. Like sometimes there'll be an animal, and it's, you know, it depends on what else is going on in the picture as well. But if I like everything else, but I'm a little on the fence, that might push me over.
Okay.
So,
All right.
but it's not a sure bet. Nothing with me is a sure bet.
Duh. Yeah. So, folks, she is the hardest woman in the world to please online.
I'm extremely picky.
I have no idea how I won you. It must have been just because you met me face to face.
But
Okay.
you also have sense of humor, and like I said, that goes a long, long ways with me.
If you can make her laugh, yeah, she'll give you a chance to make her come.
Exactly.
Um,
So what about for you?
So there have been people that I see and instantly swipe right on. That I'm like, wow, that person is exactly what I'm looking for. You know, and it's what's funny is it's not always the same thing. So I like with what I'm looking for physically, typically in a man is someone who is everything that I'm not. So broad shoulders, beard. I like sensitive eyes. Though I guess I have sensitive eyes. Do I have sensitive eyes? I mean, if you poke me, I cry. So that seems that seems like they're sensitive. Anyway,
I would say
I'm a short. I like short hair on guys. I guess that's not everything I'm not. Anyway, but so if I see someone and they're doing something like the picture is something interesting, then I'll swipe right on them. So for women though, I'm more of a, and it's gonna sound horrible to say this, but you fall in this category anyway, a Disney princess kind of guy. I like the women who have big soft eyes that are quick to smile, that nice hourglass shape. That's what I'm looking for in a woman.
do I need to go put my tiara on?
I know, right? But the other thing that I like with a woman is she has to have that certain je ne sais quoi that is that she could hurt me. And it's not an emotional hurt, but in a physical, like, and not necessarily beat me up, but I want one of those women that can fuck me up, like Pink.
Yeah.
Pink is the perfect, like, I've always loved her because she's got that certain Disney princess kind of look, but at the same time, you're pretty sure that she would eviscerate you if you left the toilet seat up.
There's a toughness to her.
Yeah, I love that. That's what I'm looking for in a woman. So if you can give me all of that in a picture, then absolutely. The problem is, if I tap on your profile, I am less likely to swipe right on you. Because if I open up your profile and there's no words or something stupid or too many words, I'm not going to swipe right on you. Things that drive me crazy about Tinder are things like, especially, you see it more with women than you do with men. Not looking for a one-night stand, not looking for a hookup, that's one of those, if I was single, I would look at that as a challenge because methinks the lady doth protest too much.
So because they say that, you think that's what they're actually looking for?
Yeah, that's what, it's a challenge for people to say, this isn't what I'm looking for, but I don't know. It's one of those, I always think of it again, and I know I've used this in a recent podcast, don't think about a purple elephant. What are you thinking about? If you say that, this is not what I'm looking for, I think that's part of your subconscious saying, this is what I'm looking for. I know for me, I also like I'm looking at this person here, INFJ. I like that. Give me that information. You've taken the test. It's that what the
gives you an
personality
idea
test.
of the Myers-Briggs.
Yeah, Myers-Briggs. Thank you.
It gives you an idea of the personality type.
Yeah. I kind of like that. That's a small. It's a scratch on the surface. But yeah, so.
So do we want to talk about what you don't like to see in things like Tinder, Grindr, Scruff, things like that?
Yeah, and we could actually.
Because you sort of started touching on that.
Yeah, it's true. So, and this is it's going to be sort of different because for Tinder you have multiple pictures attached to one person.
True.
Same with RHP. Same with OkCupid. Things like that. Field. You have multiple pictures. So what I don't like are group pics. If every one of your pictures is a group picture, I have no idea who you are.
And you can't pick out who somebody is.
I don't want to play Where's
that.
Waldo 5 times
No.
and try to figure out which person you are because by process process of elimination. And this has happened to me 9 times out of 10. I'm like, wow, that person is really cute. And then you swipe left, and it's the different person in the picture.
Other one. Yes.
I will if I think that and then swipe, and then you're a different person. Nope, you're out.
Yeah.
The last thing you want me to do is to think your friend is hot. I mean, I sound like an asshole, but I don't mean to be.
No, I've had that happen to me. Yeah.
So, that's something that I really don't like.
Especially when your first picture is a group picture. I do not like that.
Oh my God, for real.
A group picture somewhere, maybe, if you have 3 or 4, but even at that, I would keep them as, you only as possible.
Yeah. It's something that kills me. And I feel like I'm bouncing around here, which may be the way this podcast ends up going. But other things that I like to see in your pictures, in your group pictures, in your group of pictures, are pictures of you doing something.
Yeah.
Show me a picture of you
shots.
skiing or water or snow skiing, or show me a picture of you rock climbing, or show me a picture of you doing something that you're clearly interested in and you're having fun doing.
But it doesn't have to be outdoors
No,
active things.
painting.
Yeah.
I've seen pictures of people painting or sculpting, and there's something really sexy. Like sculpting is the perfect example. I remember this picture of this guy, and he was sculpting something, but his hands were all covered in clay and mud, and he was dirty. And you look at that, and most people would say, "Oh, that's not an attractive picture because he's got clay on his face and he's wearing an old ratty T-shirt."
That sounds sexy.
But there's something
That
really
sounds
sexy
hot.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it Ghost? Is that am I imagining I'm Demi Moore? I don't know. But there's something really kind of cool about that. So that's something that I'm looking for in a picture. Pictures of people smiling. If you're going to be in a picture, they don't all have to be. You don't all have to be grinning like an idiot. Come on, fucking
Look happy.
smile.
Look
Yeah.
like you're enjoying life. Because if you look like you hate life, I am not going to swipe right
No,
on you.
you got to be positive. I'm not gonna swipe right. And Grindr's the same way. It's all these guys, and so we actually installed Grindr as an example on Mrs. Adams' phone over there, so that she can be looking at it as well and see what kind of first hits she gets from people. But if you go through those pictures and look at them, you'll see that a number of those pictures, if the person's face is shown at all, they're not smiling. They're looking at the camera like they might be a serial killer. That's not a way to hook up with me.
Yeah, out of the ones just scrolling through here that have faces showing, I would say maybe 1 out of every 9 or 10 is smiling, or a half smile, a smirk, something like that.
And I will say it's worse with men than it is with women.
Yeah.
Guys don't smile, and I don't know if it's back to that, lizard brain of ours where we're like, if you show teeth, it's a sign of aggression. But I mean, like this guy. Here's a picture of a guy that is looking at the camera, and he's not smiling.
Yeah, even just a small little smile or upturned, corner of your mouth or something.
Yeah. Just show that you're you're into whatever you're doing. Every picture should not have sunglasses. If I can't see your eyes, I don't know. In some of these things, Grindr's a bit different than then I guess I should say than Tinder or
you only get one picture.
OkCupid. Well, because too, like things like RHP and Grindr, people are still trying to hide who they really are.
Yeah.
They're trying to protect themselves from the world around. I get it. I really do get it. But if you can't show me who you are really quickly, we're probably not going to be able to have a good relationship. Yeah. I understand needing to stay private. I completely respect that. I am not going to out you to the world, and maybe that's the problem. Some people will.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. What is that?
It's a plate of sushi.
Now.
So this is somebody's first picture on Tinder is a plate of sushi.
So as I understand it, Tinder has now made it to where the picture that you see as a user,
Let me see
they
what
have
else this person has.
optimized so that's the picture that most people will swipe right on.
That's their only picture.
There you go.
that's a problem.
Okay, if you are a plate of sushi, I don't know. I would totally swipe right on a plate of sushi.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, it might be good to eat, but
Yeah, I mean, all I want is a
Yeah.
plate of sushi right now.
But I mean, so many of these that I'm sitting here scrolling through, and so many are a lot of the Opera House, which it's a beautiful building. It's not you. There was someone that had half their face showing down a plane aisle. I don't really need to see the aisle of a plane. I see it enough as it is. I mean, objects. I don't like objects. I want to see you. I can see you doing something, but I don't need a picture of the Opera House or the bridge or, if
Yeah.
you're in front of it, sure, but not just the building.
Yeah.
And the plate of sushi. There's a footprint in sand and absolutely literally no further information. So, I mean, if I want to hook up with a bit of sand, then that's awesome, but I can also just walk down to the beach and do that.
It's true. Oh, it's sandy. Okay.
I prefer the live sandy better.
So, I know, right? Sorry, I'm going through my notes trying to see what I have said and what I haven't said.
Should we talk about couple profiles? Because they're different than the individual profiles.
That's true.
So let's get to like RHP,
RHP,
or
sure.
something like that.
You start on that, and then I'll interject because
You have a lot to say, don't you?
I have opinions.
Yeah, so let's start with the pictures on a couple profile.
Absolutely.
The public profile pictures.
Yes.
Not the private album.
Yes. So for us, we've got a couple. None of them show our faces. Our main profile pic that people see is actually a wedding pic of you in your wedding dress, from your neck down to your midriff in a white plunging neck shirt with a pearl necklace.
The headless bride.
The headless bride. But you have a pearl necklace on. Yeah. I like that because
of the joke.
It's classic,
yeah.
It's very pretty, and there's a great double entendre joke in there. I don't know if anybody ever gets that, but that's our personality. Mm-hmm. It's that I like to think it's also a black and white picture. So I like to think of it as classic and but still kind of flirty as well. In our second group of pictures, our first private album, we have a number of pictures that were taken from Silver Shadow. Longtime Twitter followers will recognize many of them because they are sexy nudes, but none of them show our face. Then in our final second private album, we have a lot of pictures with our faces. So I think there's 5 or 6 of, a couple shots with you and me together, and one of me by myself, one of you by yourself, right. Full body shots to show that we are indeed humans.
Yeah, and so we, of course, open up the private albums after we've been chatting with someone and, want to see more of them, want them to see more of us, and, that we are who we say we are, and we're real people.
Yeah. I will say things I don't like seeing, and it's funny because it's a lot of what people show, and it's just, this is just me. I'm only speaking for...
These are our opinions.
For us, yeah. I don't want to see naked pictures of you, like, with your junk. Like, I don't know. So, like...
Especially not right off the bat, not in the public album.
No, and there are people out there who that's what they have. And if they're tastefully done or cleverly done, sure. Mm-hmm. But,
make it artistic.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not saying our pictures are that great. Admittedly, ours are professionally taken, but yours don't have to be professionally taken to be clever. No. We've got a few pictures that you and I have taken in the bedroom that are still clever and sexy, but they're not just me penetrating you. No. They're not a close-up shot of my junk, laying across you. I mean, it's just, I don't get that. That to me isn't sexy.
Especially for the opening, the public pictures, the first things that you see about someone, I want to see that they're real people. I want to see them either doing something they enjoy. I want to see something about them that conveys a little bit of their personality.
I agree.
That's what I want to see.
Yeah. Again, I've seen pictures of people rock climbing. That's cute. Yeah. I like that. I've seen... even pictures of people just like lazing in the pool. Yeah. That's perfect. But yeah, I don't want to see you mid-coitus. That's even in your private pics. That's not what I'm interested in.
Yeah.
So, that's for me, that's what I'm not looking for. Not looking for. So RHP does something where when you build your profile, they go ahead and pre-fill. I think they ask you questions like I'm looking for, and you can pick stuff. And the idea is that you take their drop-down box stuff and then you add to it or replace it completely.
Gotcha.
If your profile is a stock profile, meaning that you have only chosen what they have offered you, I'm probably going to pass on you. If you message us and I look through your profile and it's clearly just what RHP has done for you by default, I'm going to ignore you. If there is precious little information about you physically, and again, I'm not talking about your looks or whatnot, but you can put under your height, not applicable, your weight, not applicable, your
right.
looks, not applicable, your hair color, not applicable. You can put all that or not available, whatever. If you give us no information, I'm not going to talk to you. There's hundreds of other profiles out there that have a little information. Take the time. And I think that's what it all boils down to. You don't have to show who you are. I don't expect everybody to be public and to be out there, but give me a little information to work with. You can say what your height and weight is and your hair color. You're not really narrowing it down so that people can figure out who you are.
No.
And you don't have to have pictures, but put some effort into it. Write something clever about yourself or yourselves. And that's what's gonna draw me. If you search on Google for clever online profile, there are thousands of websites pop up. There are, and fine, you copied and pasted it from somewhere, but find one that you think is clever for you, and then copy and paste it, steal it from someone else, and then change a couple of things.
So it's appropriate for you, your interests, your profile, or your personality.
Yeah. That's all you have to do. You don't have to be, I don't know, you don't have to be fucking Oscar Wilde. You can be, yourself, but still a bit clever. Which leads me to the next one for I guess for all of profiles in general, is be honest.
Yeah. Yep.
It's amazing how many times I've started good conversations with people on Grindr, only to find out that they're either A, clearly not who they say they are, or B, they're married and hiding it from their partner, or C, they're, in a long-term relationship with somebody and again hiding it from their partner. I'm not a homewrecker. We're not homewreckers. These aren't people that we're interested in. It's be honest with your partner, be honest with yourself. If you're not happy, do something to fix it. And something to fix it doesn't mean go to Grindr or go to some online dating site and randomly hook up with people.
And the other thing too is if you're doing a couple profile on something like RHP or some site like that, be honest about what you're looking for.
Absolutely.
Because so often we'll see profiles where either it's not clear what they're looking for, or they'll say one thing and then you start chatting with them and they actually want something else. And so just be honest about what you're looking for, because that's going to narrow your field down significantly. And no, who wants to sit there and wade through just tons of crap?
Yeah, and that's the thing. We're already, I say we, but anybody who's doing this, playing this game, you're already spending a lot of time doing this. You're going to save yourself a lot of pain, pressure, and heartache by just coming out from the beginning and saying, hey, this is what I want. Yeah. That way you're not going to spend 2 or 3 days chatting to somebody and then it fall through because you were dishonest from the beginning.
Right. And it may narrow your field down. Some people will say, well, I don't necessarily give all the information, or I don't do whatever because it narrows it down too much and then I don't get hits. Well, you might not get as many, but wouldn't you rather get quality matches than just a ton of ones that are crap and don't match up with what you actually want?
Yeah, totally. I completely agree with that. And I've never understood that idea as like, well, I don't get enough responses. I'm like, well, yeah, that's more crap that you have to wade through. I'd rather wade through ankle deep crap than neck deep crap. You know, and back to the Grindr, you know, if you're married and you're just trying to step out on your wife, you know, there are plenty of guys out there that are okay with that. You just, but for those of us that aren't too keen on it, again, be open, honest, and upfront. Excuse me, goodness. So another thing is, in your profile, for fuck's sake, check your spelling, check your grammar. Look, I don't mean to be a grammar Nazi, but like spelling errors absolutely piss me off. Grammar errors are okay if they're not the there, or two. That kind of problem. Those kind of problems drive me nuts. I have seen so many times where you see THER instead of THEY''RE.
And I will say too that we're both pretty harsh on that in just general chats with people.
It's lazy.
But we're a lot more forgiving if it's an occasional thing, because everyone makes mistakes in chatting.
We all have autocorrect issues.
Yes, but on a profile...
Never in my life have I met ducking.
No. But in a profile, you have time to go back and read over it and to think about it and to proofread that. It's not an immediate thing. It's not like you just type it up and then boom, it's out there and you never ever look at it again.
And you can't edit it.
Yeah.
So there's been a couple of times recently that on Field, we've matched with somebody, and one lady, we matched with her. I looked at her profile and she clearly had a spelling error in her profile, but it was, I don't even remember what it was, but it was still a real word, but it made the whole sentence mean something completely different. And so I'm trying to remember what it was, but I just can't off the top of my head. And I responded, I said, "Hi, I'm not really interested in you, but you have a spelling error here, and I think that you mean this word." And so the next time I went, she had changed it, but that was it.
Oh, that's
Which
funny.
I think it should have at least deserved a thank you, but it was not. I did not get a thank you.
I tend to agree. I'd say thank you for that one.
I know, right? Because you're polite, and she wasn't. Yeah, I lost my train of thought. It's like grammar, yeah.
Yeah. So when you're chatting with a couple, so you find a couple that you're interested in, or a third person, whatever, that you're interested in, and you're chatting. At what point, and I know this is probably going to be different for something maybe like Field or RHP compared to something like Grindr, but at what point do you exchange more pictures that show a little more risque photos or naked photos? When does that come into play for you?
That's a tough question. So, all right.
Because some people come right out of the gate and ask for
Absolutely.
photos.
And I respect that. That's fine. If that's what you want, sure. However, if you come out right out of the gate and ask me for more pictures, you better be very specific about what you want to see.
Like, I want to see your left little pinky toe?
No, but like, especially in Grindr, do you have more face pics?
Right.
I respect that, because there are people out there who steal your pictures and then they use your pictures as theirs to gain pictures from other people.
Right.
I know that happens. It has never, to my knowledge, never happened to me. But I sort of like the idea of my naked body being out there to bait other people. But, it's... so if you say, do you have more face pics to prove that it's you? Then I'm more than happy to send those. Back to RHP, and I know we're dealing a lot with RHP and Grindr, but those are the two that I use the most often. But RHP, if I message somebody and say, "Hey, I like your profile, I would like to talk a little more," I'll go ahead and unlock our first tier of pictures, which is mostly nudes, but without our faces. If we've gone back and forth a few times, or if they unlock their faces first, then I will always respond with our faces, even if I'm not interested in them. Because to me, that seems even Steven. It's fair. But Grindr, I'm a little slower to... I will say, it depends. So there are times when I'm very slow, and we chat, and then we'll start trading pics. Then there's times that, the person looks hot to begin with, and I might be only looking for something quick, then I would be more apt to send pics early.
Right.
I am rarely the first person to ask for pics, rarely. and rarely the first person to send pics. Because if somebody asks me for pics, I always say, you first, I'll send a comparable one. Because, you know, if you start with a picture of your chest, I don't want to start with a full-blown naked picture of me, you know, dancing in the moonlight.
And I would say, too, something like Field, now correct me if I'm wrong, but Field only takes pictures from Facebook, right?
For its profile.
For the profile. So that seems, something like that, I would be okay, because the app doesn't allow you to add any other photos, I would be more okay with someone asking earlier on for, do you have something else? And maybe not, you know, like a nude, but just something that shows a little more. Because, I mean, look at your Facebook pictures for your, I mean, they're not going to show as much as you would on a
Well, it's really funny though, because just to show you while we're here, that's one of the Field shots. So what people are doing is they're creating their own Facebook accounts just so they can upload this. If you have no friends on your account, then there's no way for people to mark it as obscene.
That's just a lot of work though.
It is so much more work than I'm willing to put into it. But yeah.
But I get that's actually a clever way to do that though.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I guess we've talked about the profiles, we've talked about whatnot. Let's talk about that first opening chat.
Yes.
So how often do you, if you match someone on Tinder, do you respond first or do you wait for them?
I almost always have to respond first, because even if they match me second, which I still adhere to the protocol of if you're the second matcher, then you should send the first message.
I agree completely.
But a lot of times people don't. Like, I'll look at it and somebody would have matched me that I had previously matched them, and so they should have sent the first message in my mind, and they don't. So almost always on Tinder do I have to send the first message. And sometimes I'm a little snarky and rude about that. Sometimes I'm a little bit nicer about it. But I usually at some point early on try to bring up the fact that, you probably should have messaged first.
I respect that.
And usually I'm nice about it, but occasionally not so much.
And I completely.
And it also depends on how much time has gone by. Because if it's only been like less than a day or two, then I'm okay with that. But if I don't look at it for a bit, and then it's been 3, 4, 5 days, you matched me and you still haven't sent a message, why did you match me? You clearly weren't that interested. And
I get that a lot as well. If I swipe right on somebody, it'll just sit, and there's no, they'll never message me, and I think I know that you get more swipe. If you swipe right on somebody, you're going to get a match. I know, because I've stolen your phone before and played with it, and you always get, if I swipe right on somebody, I always get the match.
Right. Yeah, I tend to send the first message most of the time. It's rare that somebody else will send it to me first. Just odd. I don't see why it's so hard to send a message to someone. But
okay, so first messages. It's I don't know. I still let's go through some of the first messages. So I have this habit of if you send me something that I think is funny or different, I will screenshot it. And by funny or different, I don't mean like I'm now going to talk to you. I mean like this person is clearly not the person I want to talk to. Mm-hmm. This is sort of the sadness that is. You
seriously thought this was going to get me interested in you.
Like, has this ever worked for you? So, let me be very open and say that my Grindr pic is not sexy at all. It's me usually being goofy. But
it shows your personality.
It does. There's a picture of me rock climbing. There's a picture of me pretending to rock climb.
Yeah.
There's I cycle through these.
They're all goofy
There's
kind
a
of
picture
pictures.
of me kind of like mouth wide open, goofing off over a cake, a piece of dessert.
Yeah.
So they're all goofy kind of pictures, but that's who I am. So someone messaged me 3 messages in a row. The first one, yum. Second one, I'm name removed. Third one, would love to suck you off. But there's a question mark after it. So like, would love to suck you off? Like, seriously? Has this ever worked for you? Okay. Here's another one. This is the first message that I've received. Hey, sir, want to use and humiliate me? Do any dares? Get me wet and messy, sir.
Wow, that's such a mixture there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how to take that.
I don't know. Here's another one. Would you fuck me outdoors in the dark from behind? I'll be waiting on all fours. That is the opening message. So at that point, I was feeling a bit sarcastic, so I responded, geez, again? Dad, I asked you to stop messaging me. Person never responded.
Yeah. Not surprising.
So this person pissed me off because so his username is straight bloke, and he's a top, and his first is A-Y. Hey.
Oh, okay.
Right. So
I thought you
was
were saying
like-
the letter. Yes.
and he said, hey. And then, so it goes on, but anyway, it goes on for a while. And I actually remember, I've edited out some of this, but the next picture is, he says, I say, so, if you're on here, is straight really accurate? Because we're on Grindr. He says, you say you're married to a woman. Clearly it's BS if you don't understand. I said, so I responded, haha, yeah, but I'm bisexual. No more responses.
Yeah.
The next one. So I'm going to give dates on this one because this is important. He sends, hot pic, mister. And Monday, May 23rd. Hot pic, mister. Tuesday, May 24th. My response. Why, thank you. Flattery will get you at least a beer. August 3rd. I'm sorry, no, that was October 3rd. He responds, we'll have to work right on that. Flattery.
5 months
And
later?
I said, and I responded instantly, did it really take you 5 months to come up with that? And he responded, sorry, I missed your message. Wah, wah.
That's fine.
So that's the kind of quality messages that I get on here. That and also things where I get instant dick pics. Instantly.
Yeah.
And let's... Do we want to like dissect the dick pic right now real quick? They all are horrific. There is 1 in every 20 dick pics actually makes it look good.
Well, because they're usually close up. There's no perspective. There's nothing.
I gotta tell
There's
you,
nothing artsy about it.
the only
Yeah.
dick pic I've ever seen that honestly worked for me, and it made me laugh, and I really liked it. So those little bitty bananas,
Yes.
you know the ones I'm talking about. They're
Yes.
about this. They're about the size of the palm of your hand. They're not big bananas, but this guy took a bunch of those, and he's got his junk hanging flaccid in with those little bananas. But the way the picture's taken, you can't tell if they're full-size bananas or not because you can't see his other hand.
Oh, okay.
So when you first look at it, you're like, holy shit, you're hung like a banana. And I actually commented, I was like, dude, you're freaking huge. And he goes, it's those little baby bananas. So I think that's clever.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
that works. That I like.
But again, that shows sense of humor. It shows
exactly.
something clever.
And I'm still talking to that dude on Grindr.
Yeah. So what kind of messages do you either like to see or do you send to someone as an opening message?
Okay, so before we go into that, and I'll get to that, but
Okay.
so as a response, this is what my profile says. Bi fella looking for friends to hang out with and occasionally play with. I'm from the States in an ethically non-monogamous marriage. She knows and it turns her on. Clever conversations wanted. So that's what if you come out with something clever. And I've had really good things like people asking, what books do you read, or what movies do you like, or music. So ask me a question. Those are the ones I like. Even if it's something as generic as, what are you doing this weekend?
Yeah.
Or are you up to anything fun
Yep.
this weekend?
Just something to start that conversation and engage the person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, if you send me hey, I always respond hey. And then if it's something as pedantic after hey, I will respond as a mirror until you say something clever. And it's been 3 or 4 times that I wish I had saved some of those. I haven't, but where somebody will say, "Hey, how are you? How are you?"
We have a fella now that does that.
Oh my God!
We started a chat with him, and it was okay at first, and then he just very quickly switched to
Neanderthal.
Well, yeah, it's like the personality went away, and he didn't respond for a bit, and then it was bad grammar. It was just hey. Every 3 days we'll get a hey from him, and that's it.
Yeah.
And you respond, and there's nothing else after that.
It's just flat.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to put any effort into it, you are not getting into our pants.
No.
I'm cheap, not easy. I'm not cheap either. Damn it.
No, you're not.
Break out your wallet. But ask a question.
Yeah.
Be clever. Be polite. Don't assume that just because you've showed me a picture of your junk, I'm going to dive all over it. Mm-hmm. So how about you? What kind of first messages do you get on Tinder?
So let me open up Tinder here and see some of the first ones. I tend to get, let's see.
I mean, it's not difficult to ask a question, to be clever. And maybe it is for some people, but you can search online and look at Google for good opening chat up lines.
Yeah. So I tend to get questions, like you said, about what are you up to this weekend? Because admittedly, I don't look at Tinder as much earlier in the week. It tends to be more closer to the weekend. But I get things like that. I get questions about the relationship because I have on there that somehow.
Hey, at least people actually read your fucking profile.
Yeah, I've mentioned something.
That's another thing that I'll swipe right on somebody and I'll immediately start with, "Hey, have you read my profile?" And then I get magically unmatched because they haven't read the profile. Don't fucking be lazy. If you swipe right on somebody, go back and you match, read their profile immediately.
I got one from a lady who lives within a couple kilometers, so very close to us. And she started out with, "You look familiar, not sure if we bumped into each other in real life. How are things on Tinder? Any success stories?"
Oh, and how did that go?
We chatted actually for quite a long time and tried to meet up and just didn't, and admittedly fizzled out. So I know.
Laziness.
Move
quickly.
She had, no, that's true. She had a lot of stuff going on, and it was one of those, okay, well, let me know when you have time, and then, it just never did. So yeah, I tend to get things like that. Most people, I don't get too much on Tinder. I'll get no responses to my questions or my first message before I'll get anything that's too basic. Most of the basic things, I think, come through Grindr and whatnot. Most of the ones I get on Tinder ask a question.
That's good.
Or they, like I said, even if it's something about the weekend or the relationship or, something about anything else that I've mentioned in there. One of the pictures, sometimes, I'll get questions about a picture.
That gives me hope for mankind.
Yeah, but, I mean, again, I send more responses to matches and don't get something back than...
See, that fascinates me because if someone who looked like... I've seen your Tinder pics. Yeah. I've seen your Tinder profile. And if somebody who looked like you messaged me, I'd be like, holy shitballs, I will do whatever it takes to reel this one in.
Hey, well, it's not just that, though. It's the fact that you matched me to begin with. I send you a message.
And then
you don't respond. So, again, why match me if you're not going to chat?
Yeah.
Or if you're not going to even respond? That just... I don't understand the logic there.
I don't either. People are stupid.
But on the Grindr account here that we created...
Oh, yeah. Do you have anything?
It's only been open... We've only had it for an hour, and admittedly it took a little while for the picture to get approved. I have 3 messages, and in the profile, let's see how it's worded.
What's your favorite book,
yeah,
I think is what we put.
Say something about what's your favorite book, just to see if people actually read it or not.
Yeah, fair enough.
And 2 people responded with books.
Oh, good.
The third one said, "How are you?"
Yeah. So, I mean, that's already better responses than some of the shit I get.
Yeah. But it also has, I mean, it's only been an hour. It hasn't been open for very long.
So, yeah, you've gotten 3 responses in an hour. 2 of those people have read your responses. Are they cute?
My profile.
Or, yeah, your profile.
Yeah.
Are any of them cute? Opening them up.
Yeah, fair.
Meh.
Yeah. I think it'd be worthy of conversation.
All right. I actually recognize that second picture.
Yeah.
That's someone who blocked me because I was too old, which leads me to another thing. So, and I know that person, and I can guarantee you, because I got blocked recently after having a long conversation with that person, a long, very good conversation with that person. Mm-hmm. And on Grindr, you're allowed to block your age so that it's not shown.
Okay.
And constant listeners will know that by the time this podcast is released, I will be 39 years old. Mm-hmm. Wonderful podcast listeners will also have seen pictures of me and will be able to judge for themselves whether or not I look 39. I don't think that I look 39, and I damn sure know that I don't act 39. I barely act 16.
I would agree with that.
Thank you. So, this person says no one over 35 on their profile pic. We start talking. We're having a great conversation. It was like, this is really interesting. And it gets to the point where he asks me, would you like to catch up for a beer? And so to say that we've had the conversation, we've had at least 25 plus back and forths.
Okay.
Questions about work, questions about, he asked about our relationship, just all these questions that were, and we're going back and forth. It was a good conversation. Then he asked me if I want to grab a beer. Absolutely. He said, by the way, how old are you? And I figured at this point, it's fine to say. I said, I'm currently 38 years old. Instantly, within an hour, I was blocked.
Right.
He just completely disappears. Which, I look at that as, that's a good thing. I'm saved. Because if you only judge people, especially by 3 years, 4 years tops.
Yeah. It's not that big of a difference.
You're kind of an asshat. Yeah. Which is why, for us, as a couple, we don't put an age limit on people.
No, we don't.
I'm more apt to put a young age limit on people than I am to put an older age limit on people.
Because of the maturity factor.
Yes.
Yeah. To me, age doesn't matter as much. It all comes down to personality.
And I won't lie.
Really?
I have, we've talked about it before, I think, on the podcast. I have a bit of a daddy thing.
Yeah.
I like the guys that are in their, late 40s, mid 50s, almost, I've been attracted to guys in their 60s. Mm-hmm. It works for me. And then younger. I'm less apt to go younger, but I'm going to tell you, if that's such an issue, we're going to talk about it first thing. And I've had conversations with guys. The last time I was in Canberra, I had a wonderful chat with a guy who was 20. And I told him out of the gate, I'm much too old for you, or you're too young for me. But we still had a good conversation. And in the end, he was like, I appreciate the fact that you told me from the beginning. I'm like, well, cool.
I think I will say that back when I did have my OkCupid account, I did have an age range on that. It was a pretty wide range, but I would get messages from people that were outside of it, and it was fine because I think I can't remember if they make you put an age range or not, but I had one on there. I don't remember. To be honest. But we got messages from people outside of the age range, and it was fine. I don't, again, that's not as important to me. It was pretty wide as well, because I would much rather have good conversation with someone and be attracted to them for who they are than worry about age.
Absolutely. I completely agree.
Because I'm trying to think of most of our play partners currently. Most of the couples, I would say, are within 7 years plus or minus.
I agree with that, yeah.
Yeah. And
maybe even tighter range than that.
Maybe. Yeah. But, yeah, so most of the couples are close-ish to our age. But then we have thirds, singles that we play with that are somewhere beyond that. And
yeah. Well, guys-wise, if I'm looking at...
I'd say guys tend to be older, because I like older guys, too.
Me, too. For men, if you're a single guy and you're 10 years older than me, you're in that's that sweet spot for me.
Yeah.
I like the 48 to 54. That's probably my favorite spot for men.
We've had a few younger guys, like much younger guys, and it's the maturity factor.
Yeah.
They just aren't there.
Yeah, I mean, but that's not all younger guys.
It's not all.
That's just our experience.
Yeah. And I'm not going to discount someone because of that. I'll give them a chance. But
absolutely.
Yeah.
But you're going to have to work a little harder.
Yeah, you're going to have to work a little harder.
So, I guess one more thing I want to talk about, because I know we're pushing long on this podcast, but one more thing I want to talk about is those private pics again. You know, we've already talked about when we send them and when we're ready to receive them. I want to give a little advice on sending on what those pics should look like.
Okay.
For me, clean the fuck up.
Look at the background.
Look at the background.
Yes.
And we have seen, these are all pictures that we have seen. Pictures of naked bodies where in the background the dresser is open, chest of drawers is open, and there's like underwear and shit hanging
spilling
out of your drawers.
Yeah.
I thought that only happened in cartoons or movies, but apparently that happens in real life as well. Mm-hmm. I've never done that where I have clothes literally hanging out like my drawers have just vomited clothes. I've never had that, but apparently a lot of people do. Apparently that's a thing. If you have piles of clothes in the background, pick those up.
Move them. You can put them back. Just move them for the picture.
Yeah, it's just... There
was a picture I just saw this evening as we've been chatting, and it was someone standing next to their their cabinet in the bathroom. Uh-huh. The door was clearly open, and you see all of their toiletries.
Yeah, I don't want to see that shit.
Close the door.
You know what? I don't want to see pictures in your bathroom. Do not take a bathroom mirror selfie pic. Those cannot look good. I'm going to say it right there. Anybody who wants to challenge me, please feel free to send me one, and I will tell you what I think of it. Unless you're being funny. I've seen those funny ones where I had a guy send me a picture where he was completely clothed in a shower. That's kind of funny. I mean, he's clearly sort of taking the piss out of those people who do those dumb shots. Yeah. I would love to see a picture of somebody in like a laundromat with all the piles of clothes behind them. That would make me happy. You know, again, if you're going to do stupid shit like that, be clever.
And also, not just to clean up the background and make sure that you don't have, like, dirty laundry or anything like that hanging around, but just make sure it's not too cluttered. Because if there's a lot of stuff going on behind you, I'm going to be more focused on looking at what that is and figuring out what it is than I am going to be looking at you. So you want a clean background.
I tend to agree with that as well.
Yeah.
And back to the dick pic pictures. Again, the first thing I would say is, seriously, if that's one of the first things that you send, so my first question always is when I see one of those, I think to myself, if it's immediate, is this your best quality? Mm-hmm. If of all of your witty repartee, your eyes, your muscles, your legs, the one thing that you think that is going to sway me, that's going to pull me to you, is a shot of your junk. I am, anybody who's ever chatted with us and sent us pictures of their junk, I always say, I am more interested in the junk between your ears than the junk between your legs. And that is completely, I will always stand by that.
Yeah.
Like we said, if you're going to do it, be clever about it. Do something different, like the banana pic. But finally, think about what you're looking for. And, if let's say you sent me a dick pic and I'm like, oh my God, I really need that. Is that really what you're looking for? Are you looking for the quality of person, that type of person that when they see a picture of your junk, they're like,
I have to have that.
I have to have that. This is the person for me.
Some people are. Maybe that's how they weed out what they're looking for.
I would be curious to know the quality of people that they get. I would love to know that. I will never find out that because I'm not going to start with a dick pic. Period. But yeah. So when you are sending pictures, be cognizant. There are a number of people out there who are just looking to collect their spank bank.
Yeah.
So, I always like to say, I'll send one or two pictures. If I'm sending something to somebody on Grindr, it's unlikely that I will have my face in it unless they've sent me a bunch with their faces in it. I very rarely send nudes with my face in it. It'll be a headless nude or a picture of me fully clothed. But, there are a number of people out there that just want your picture. They're just looking for something to masturbate to.
Yeah.
They like the chat and whatnot, and they're not actually looking for an actual hookup. This is true for couples as it is for singles. Mm-hmm. So just be cognizant of that. Don't send anything that you don't expect to see on some sexy website. That's the other thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you have anything to add to that?
No.
No?
I think we've covered a lot.
I feel like we've covered a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And rambled on and on and on.
So we do have a question this week.
Oh, we do?
It actually goes very well in line with this, and we've probably covered a lot of it, but I'll ask it in case you have anything additional to add.
Okie dokie.
When looking for a playmate or playmates online, what are some warning signs to watch out for?
Oh, wow. So, okay, if I'm looking for somebody, I want to see their face pretty early on. If it's not part of their, when I look at Grindr, I'm much more likely, and I will say much more by, I would put myself at 5 out of 6 times more likely to message somebody who has a face pic than I do to somebody who has something artsy or clever or whatever. So that's the first, for me, a first warning sign. I want to see a picture of the person's face. If the person, for RHP, we've had those messages where people just want us to come straight to their place. I think for both a safety thing for us and them, that's a bad idea. I want to meet you in a public place where we can have a cup of coffee or a beer or wine and have a conversation. That's another warning sign. If you want to jump straight to bed, that's a warning sign for me.
And for me, another one that I look at, especially when looking at couples profiles, is I look for consistency between what they say and the pictures, because sometimes you're looking at what's written and that's not what I see in these pictures. So I'd look for some kind of consistency there, and also especially if it's gotten to the point that we're chatting with someone or even just messaging back and forth on RHP before moving anywhere further with it, I look to see if both people are chiming in. And admittedly, I don't chime in as frequently, but at least if there's something from both parties at some point.
I agree completely. And
because I want it, especially if it's a couple, I want everyone to be engaged. And I know that some people have more time or more interest than others, but on some level, everyone needs to be engaged.
I agree. And I want more than just, other warning signs for me, and this is one that we've run into recently, is someone who messages always after 11 p.m.
Yes.
If you're messaging us between 11 p.m. and 1 a.m., that tells me that you're drunk or you're out and you're just looking for a body. The "are you free right now?" That kills me. I hate that. And if you just say "hey," that's something that immediately a warning flag goes up, because that means that person's not clever enough to come up with anything better than "hey." Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think we pretty well covered it.
I think we covered that. We probably just do a whole nother hour on profiles and whatnot, but for now, let's call it quits. All right, so send us your worst opening lines.
This could be fun.
That people have sent to you. I would love to hear some of these. I want to hear your worst opening lines. I want to hear the shittiest pictures that you've seen. You don't have to send the pictures, but you can describe them to us in a few words. Tweet them at us. You can send us or follow us on Twitter at @ByTheByPodcast. Send us those tweets. I'd love to see what you all have seen. That would be awesome. Go to our website, www.bytheby.com.au. Send us your emails to theatomsoflove@gmail.com. There's so many ats and dots and whatnots anymore. Oy, tell ya, gewalt. Send us
send us a message. It'll be interesting. I'd love to hear what's
your
kinds of
worst
things.
What's the worst thing that you've ever gotten? Or let's turn this around as well. What's the worst thing that you've ever sent that actually worked? I would love to know. And send us a bunch of these. We'll try to do a podcast, talking about
compile them all together.
I've got a few really bad pickup lines that I've used that actually worked. and I'll share them with y'all. All right. Yeah.
All right.
So
Thanks for listening to us here on By the By.
we'll talk to you later.